want to think about a small economy. We're going to have balanced trade. Right, we have the variable names are as in the lecture. To keep in mind the difference between the CPI, like the price level that's relevant for consumers, and the domestic price level is called here, which is the producer price level, which is the price level of the goods that we produce. All right, we're gonna we fix the price level in the rest of the world, and then we can relate the price level at home for producers at home to the price level. I'm sorry, the price level for our CPI, our consumers, is going to be a weighted average of the domestic price level and the exchange rates. The idea here is being, you can see right away if we're open, right, we're going to be importing prices from abroad, right, and the proportion to which we do that is the proportion to which imported goods make up our consumption basket. All right, we have our terms of trade. We have our foreign price level we've held constant, normalized to 1, so that in the logs it's 0, so it just disappears, makes our life a lot easier. Yeah? Right, and this gives us the relationship that our terms of trade, right, is going to be exactly equal to our nominal exchange rate up to the effect of our domestic prices. So then we can relate this because of our unit elasticity substitution to the ratio, or here log is the difference between domestic and world production. All right, we have a production function here in logs, right? It's linear in labor, right? So if you were to write this in the Cobb-Douglas form, this is with an elasticity, right, of alpha equal to 0. So when we take logs, we don't have a constant out front here. So this is a very special production function, right? Perfect competition, flexible prices, flexible wages, right? So we're looking at sort of dialing back a little bit what we did in the lecture. So we can see then what the difference is, and then the verbal question in C, we're going to take your perfect competition, flexible price answers, and then think about what this means when we have price rigidity, monopolistic competition. All right, and an even more simplified money demand function, right? It's not even interest rate elastic. We have a transaction demand. CT that needs to be covered by our real money. Oh, and we have here, there's the straightforward labor-leisure trade-off equation from the lecture. All right, so we have our exogenous processes, domestic productivity, and foreign output, and the money supply, assuming that this money supply is exogenous. So we want to determine these equilibrium processes and then discuss what happens if sigma equals 1. Right. Sigma equals 1 is log preferences. This shows up in a lot of models as a special case. A useful special case because it's, for example, we have things like the substitution and income effect that exactly cancel each other out. So we had a lot of straightforward results. Okay, so part of this then is then demand function of our goods is equal to domestic consumption and a term for the terms of trade, and how much are we importing versus exporting. We have okay, so then blue when you're rearranging, so now we got sort of this pseudo labor demand function, right? Our perfect competition is gonna give us the marginal product of labor, right? Because we have linear production in labor, the marginal product of labor is then just productivity, right? This is useful, so this gives us the real wage from the producer's standpoint, right? Not from the household standpoint, is equal to marginal productivity. When we think about what the household cares about, right? So we see here, this is, again, another key difference in the small and open economy models is that the real wage relevant for producers is different than the real wage relevant for households. Here we have producer prices, consumer prices. Right, we can convert the two, right, using the for example, we have the relationship here.
Yeah, the question, the equation one combine two equation, the given information.
Yeah. Right, so I'm just trying to say how you went from here to here. Right, you can see this. Oh yeah, and then we have from
from BT
normal exchange rate, we then also have the
and SD. Yeah,
terms of trade.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So if you plug this in here, you get alpha.
put out the alpha and combine in bracket. Sorry, can I write?
Yeah, sure. Exactly. Thank you. Combine those two, and you can plug that. So we end up here with
Different way.
a little bit different. So I'm trying to figure out, because I think the something. Yeah, this.
Yep, that until the equation number equation 3.
Right, yeah, I think, and this is, what you did is correct. This was. The marginal
Yeah.
labor demand is going to depend on the, that was a key result that we had.
Đôi khi ta cũng lẫn qua lại hết.
Cộng màu đen với màu xanh lại đi.
Chứ cha là tao làm nhưng mà thầy bị vấn đề gì thật sự. Ý là
Chị giúp thầy trở thành nhà báo không?
thầy đang kiếm cái số 3 của tao á.
Đúng rồi, thầy học cái số 3.
Ý là khác, cái số 3 của thầy là cái BT tổng của chị là BT home thôi.
Cái số 3.
Chết rồi, tao tao cũng biết tao đang làm gì nữa.
Ý là chắc tao bị sai rồi mà tao không biết. Tao đã nói là tao nhờ bạn thân của tao mà. cái chỗ mà im la đó tao cũng thầy đang thắc mắc là tao có dạy tụi bay không, rồi sao tụi bay tiếp.
Cái chỗ đó là đề không có đề chỉ để là perfect competition thôi. Cái đề
Alright, now let's just go with your answer first, then we'll compare with what I had here, where there's, I think, an obvious mistake. Okay. So, yeah. So we have, and
Sai cái chỗ đó là sai nguyên bài luôn á.
okay, so then for labor, you substitute in equation 2 here, and then you correct or connect the CPI and the PPI. Alright. And then you collect terms. Okay. Then we're going to trade balance equal to 0. You take the definition of our net exports. They have to be equal to 0 because we don't have a balanced trading. We don't have international financial markets here. Okay. So this gives us then a movement, consumption, and output together. If they differ, this is going to reflect, push directly onto the terms of trade. That's the terms of trade going up would be like a real depreciation of our producer goods. Okay. So the idea here is to combine the two now to eliminate consumption. And then we have the unit elasticity, which connected the terms of trade and the two output at home and abroad together. So the terms of trade, yeah, so you can then substitute this in here and solve for output. We get that output depends on positively on both productivity and here our foreign output depending on the value of sigma. Alright. So you can already see here sigma equals 1 is going to be special. Right, let's compare that. Get the foreign output is then. Okay. Alright, so our exchange rate is then, we have is our money supply less foreign output. Let's see if we increase our money supply, we have flexible prices, it's gonna push all of our domestically calculated prices up 1 for 1. This is our flexible price classical world. And we have then either we keep the money supply constant and foreign demand goes up. This is going to push the exchange rate down and appreciate our currency. In terms of
Sorry, Professor.
yeah,
For the perfect competition, perfect competition in life for because I saw that in the lecture page 33 we have the marginal cost,
yeah.
and I feel like with the perfect competition, so the firm will set the price equal to marginal cost. If marginal cost equal that the log equal to 0, so for new, if the because don't mention about the so I equal to 0, so I equal to
Yeah, no, so I think this is exactly right. What I'm bothered is the solution that I have here is also the solution that Gali gave. So I'm looking at it. This is confusing, and I'm not happy with it because I think what you did was more consistent with the lecture. So now I'm just trying to spontaneously see where the differences are going to be, right? So
I did not divide the specific or I'll just anh làm biến á, tại vì anh quay tiền rồi xong là không có nhét mấy cái kim vô. Anh thấy một cái con thầy nó tùm lum, tại thầy nhét vô.
we get the same result for
The same.
right, the exchange rate equal to the
And yeah.
money. So this is a standard classical result, so that works. The price level, which is plugging and moving for consumption.
I did not summarize.
That's okay. We have PHT is M minus Y, right? And P should then end up being an M minus C.
Yeah, in the middle, money remain in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Money remain have a gap.
Yeah. So that's then consistent. Right. Okay, I want to submit with the results. I like your answer. I think I did better. I'm going to have to change this. Right? So much for my solution to pad. So okay, then let's so I lost points, I think Gali lost points. I think you did a better job here. Right, and this is I think some of the results intuitively still went through it there, but it's one of the key things to take away. We have output moves with productivity and foreign income. Right, this foreign income, whether it's going to be a net positive or net negative effect, right, this is going to depend on our intertemporal elasticity substitution or risk aversion. Right, we can think of whether the substitution or the income effect outweighs. We can see that. Right, here in equation 3 is I think really the key equation here. It's if we have a it shows how the terms of trade affect our domestic output. So we hold productivity constant, right? Then as the terms of trade go up, which is a real depreciation, the question is whether this has so this makes this real depreciation is going to be domestic goods over foreign goods, producer goods. And so if this goes up, we have to give up more foreign or domestic goods per foreign good. On the other hand, this means that other countries wanting to give up fewer foreign goods to get our domestic good. So you have these two sort of countervailing effects, and when sigma is equal to 1, then there's no effect of the terms of trade on our output. Right? And this also essentially kind of follows because of our trade balance. So if the trade is balanced out, right, then there's not going to be over adjustment or under adjustment that hangs around in balance. It has to equal out. So this domestic income substitution effect is gone because we have sigma equal to 1. Right? And then we're just going to have demand driven or output driven by productivity. We have consumption, and because of the way terms of trade are defined, right, consumption and the exchange rate, right, don't depend on this sigma, or the fact that they depend on domestic output. So if we have sigma greater than 1, that's probably the best way to look at this. Right, so I like the way you wrote this here, is that these definitions hold and all the different cases. This
because the requirement is the function of, so I write out all the function based on that.
yeah, no, that's good. I'm now just double checking with, since we have, so it looks like rate is equal to the money supply minus borrowing. So these are both exogenously given here. Times the exchange rate is then, oh yeah, that's sort of the whole point. The whole point here, there we go. And this is what feeds into the answer here, is that if we're having, this is given exogenously, and this is then our choice variable for monetary policy, which means the nominal exchange rate has to be what it's going to be. Right? We'll see in the answer for B that we can alternatively try and fix the nominal exchange rate, and that would cause us to have to endogenize money supply. Okay, but we can look at, so the terms of trade, just look for a second if we have an exogenous increase in so if we have a sigma greater than 1, then the response of output is going to be negative. So we would have then D of ST. This goes down, this is up, there's a minus sign with sigma greater than 1. Or actually, let's have it be a decrease. That's the same magnitude. This decreases then, the minus sign from this goes up, but now output also goes up. So this will be the increase in the terms of trade is going to be larger. Right, we have y star has gone down. If sigma is greater than 1, then y also responds, and it's going to respond negatively. Alright, so here then the CT is going to drop, it's going to drop more strongly. Then sigma is equal to 1. And so in response to foreign demand shock, right, this increases the terms of trade, which means it's more or less competitive, so it's more expensive for us to get goods, and this effect is going to be disproportionately larger, which is going to push our domestic consumption down even further if we have a sigma greater than 1. So see how long I can, but I'm gonna, I have some answers here, but I'm going to rethink my answers. And I'll put something together, a separate thing. And then I'll put this, of course, the pictures of your fantastic answer. All right, so now we want to look at what happens if we have a fixed nominal exchange rate. So we see sort of what are the key equation here. Bottom, we have over here. All right, we're going to fix the exchange rate. This means money supply has to move endogenously. Right? It has to move endogenously, right, to cancel out any effects on the exchange rate from domestic inflation. Right? So it moves CPI and PPI in such a way that our terms of trade mirrors then exactly the movements. It's a mirror, it's a reflection, an opposite reflection, a mirror reflection of the movements in producer price inflation. Right, now we notice then that we have YT is independent of any nominal variables, independent of the money supply here. Y2 is then going to be independent of this exchange rate. Well, we kind of set to zero some other, you can think of an exogenous exchange rate. This is the dichotomy that we get in models where we have perfect price flexibility. This is the monetary neutrality. And then you see here if right, so this is what I said here. You've written out very well. So to keep the exchange rate unchanged, our CPI has to be adjusted by the money supply. Right, so that the terms of trade may give us mere reflection of the developments of our PPI. What this means is that the money supply is determined endogenously. So we've lost our independent monetary policy, right? We're committed to keeping an exchange rate constant. Now our IS curve now the terms of trade has less of ability to absorb the shock. This is going to put higher pressure. It's going to be pushed over towards inflation and the output gap. So this is the change in the CPI, right, that you mentioned here, that we have to all right, now this is also it's the same equation here, but it's written out explicitly. Right, our money supply, right, follows then exactly foreign demand. So what would happen then if we, so thank you both very much. I'm going to be careful when we go forward here to see how much was affected by that and this was the terms of trade effect and the wealth effect. So it's the same sort of substitution, income effect. They cancel out when sigma is equal to 1. y then the terms of trade canceled out and sigma equals 1k. So right, and then understanding whether this, so depending on whether it has a positive or negative effect, right, we're going to take this marginal cost, it's going to respond, but it's going to respond slowly, more slowly, right? So we're going to have this front loading, and the prices can adjust and quantities have to adjust or adjust more. So if we have our flexible exchange rate, then productivity shock leads to a immediate drop in prices, output and consumption increase, and the terms of trade increase, and there's been no effect in the nominal exchange rate. But under sticky prices, right, our natural output increases. This would be before. Our natural output is going to increase. Now the same Newtonian logic comes in, so we have this baseline natural output rates, but our actual output is not going to rise as fast. So let's give this a negative output gap, right, which is going to lead producers to want to drop their prices. Right, so we have output gap going down, prices going down, so the interest rate is going to be lowered. It's going to make this actual output be not fall, or the output gap not be as large as it otherwise would. Right? We're going to have then, instead of an instant adjustment, we're then going to have an output gap that's negative and then slowly close. So output is going to go up, but not by as much, and then slowly going to catch up to the natural output. Right, if we have a flexible exchange rate and flexible prices, then an increase in money supply has no effect on real variables at all. Right? It's not possible. Right? If we increase the money supply and we have to, right? So the prices adjust exactly 1-for-1 exchange rates, exact 1-for-1. Right? So we get then no real effect of our nominal variables. Right? So we know in the Keynesian model, if we have the liquidity effect, the money supply going up means interest rates fall. And interest rates falling means households are going to, prices aren't going to adjust fully, so this means a drop in the real interest rate. So households are going to want to increase or fall in the nominal interest rates, fall in the real interest rate means it's a bad time to save. Households are going to increase demand. We're going to have the output gap going up, which leads to an increase in inflation, an increase in the terms of trade in the nominal exchange rate. Right, with an exchange rate peg again, no independent monetary policy is possible. So if we have an increase in productivity under flexible prices, we're going to have prices then fall. Under sticky prices, we have the same impact on same response on impact. But now the central bank, so as before here with a flexible exchange rate, but now the central bank can't lower the interest rate to support the fall in the output gap, right, to bring output closer to where it was before. So The output gap is going to have a larger fall and be more persistent. So we're going to have larger, output's going to be further away than the natural level, so it's not going to rise by as much, and it's going to take longer to connect with that, and we're going to have then stronger variations in prices. So what's the takeaway that we should have here? One is the solving out mechanically. If you're thinking about what you need to do, for example, when you're facing a model like this, right? Find out which variables are exogenous, and determine the model's variables as functions of these exogenous variables. Right? There's nothing in the math here that was complicated. It was just you have to be careful algebra. Be careful with the definitions. Right? And then we get even this open economy model. We get then this importance of this threshold case of log consumption preferences, and we get the income substitution effects. We're given wealth and this let's see here. Remember, it's called the term of trade effect. It's what I'm looking at here. Which one of those two effects is larger? If we hold the money supply constant, right, you can see that we have then the exchange rate is going to be shifting. This price is going to be moving to pick up a lot of the slack here. If we instead fix that price, right, then we're going to have another variable that picks up that slack, and that's going to be our prices at home, right, or here the producer prices, inflation, and our terms of trade. In the New Keynesian model, we're always going to have incomplete adjustment of prices. Right, so you can take that as this first direction movement of prices that you would have in the. So here you have this. So if we have a drop in foreign production, right, and we have sigma greater than 1, right, this means we're going to have an increase in domestic production, which is going to tend to push up our producer price. In the New Keynesian model, this increase wouldn't all happen at once. We have some firms that are unable to adjust their prices. Right? So it's going to give us then incomplete adjustment of prices, so prices don't go up by as much. And we're going to have then a larger, in this case, adjustment. How about we take a 10-minute break on this, and then we quick look at this again, and then we have our last topic we also need to do today. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.